thought it was safe to step back out into the desert. It's the return of Fuego.
And I wish an extensive and thunderous greetings to all of you. And we have seen our fair share of thunder and lightning and rain and craziness over this last week or so, guys, right? What's going on? It's your homeboy Jaime and Fuego returning with season numero tres of my local artist spotlight. And it's been, nice little siesta for me. Like to do about 11 days on and 11 days off with this particular program, and this is the kickoff of the third incarnation of this program of mine. So just to bring anybody who's new to the show up to speed, I basically like to select an artist that I think has some just worthwhile merit from the local scene here. They can be from anywhere in the state, but the only stipulation is they need to be playing a show here in the Valley, so somewhere in like the Metro Phoenix area on this particular day. And so it's been, as I mentioned, a nice little break from this program. I got to see a fantastic show that I just have to at least rave about for a moment here. Awesomest name I've heard in a great long time. Samuel L. Cool J. Yeah, that's right. We're talking two iconic brothers coming together, and the type of music that was being just placed for all to see at the Crescent Ballroom this past Saturday was just fantastic throwback soul, doo-wop, Stax Records, Motown, that type of vibe. And I was so very thoroughly impressed. Joel from Gospel Clause and through Gospel Review, this is his newest project, and he's actually stepped away from the mic for this one and has just an awesome front man leading the proceedings. So that was great. If y'all get the chance to check them out in the near future, please jump onto their Facebook or just do a Google search, Samuel L. Cool J. But there's two of them. There's one from here and there's also one from back east. But you want to check out the local boys. As far as the concert that I am going to be talking about today goes, Phoenix and just Arizona period has a long, just rich history, especially over the last few decades, of giving the entirety of the country some awesome kind of like indie rock music, I guess, like indie pop in a lot of ways, indie pop rock, just of the awesomest variety. We're not talking your cookie cutter crap. We're talking, all kinds of influences coming together, but done in a nice, independent fashion. And the band that I am going to be mentioning today is following in the footsteps fully of bands like, The Format, who went on to give Nate Roost to the world and fun. And yeah, check out the superstar that he's become. Pretty awesome. Also have Jimmy Eat World tearing things up. They're on Conan just the other night. So yeah, we have, I think we're unsung heroes, and we don't necessarily get the credit that we deserve for, some of the music that we've exported to the rest of the country, some of the great rock. And the band that holds it down tonight at Long Wong's at the Firehouse, so that's the one in Tempe, they go by the name Flight of Ideas, and they just hit 200 likes on their Facebook today. They are so very stoked for this performance tonight, and I think they're really going to turn some heads. They're on an extensive lineup with some other locals, but they were the ones that I was so very impressed with and wanted to feature today. The song of theirs that you're about to have for your listening pleasure is called Reinventing Your Perspective, and I think that a lot of the time that's something that most of us have difficulty with, because we get so just, stuck in, these mindsets and these preconceptions that we form about not just other people, but, food and, places we could go hang out or travel to or visit or whatever it may be. It's very easy to, get kind of comfortable, and it's important to reinvent that perspective if at all possible a lot of the time. So here's that track. It's called Reinventing Your Perspective, as I mentioned, and the band, once again, remember it. They're called Flight of Ideas. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more after the song. Enjoy. Yeah, the hook on that song was what really just captured my attention instantly the first time that I heard it. You and I were destined to go in opposite directions. That is cathartic. It's, very well rhymed. Yeah. And it's a sad acceptance, that some people have to come to, friends, family, lovers, whatever it may be. Sometimes we don't always get to stick together the way that we would like to. And that's where, changing that perspective comes into play that was discussed in this particular song that we just heard. Reinventing Your Perspective. That was the title of that track, and once again from Flight of Ideas from here in Arizona. They're going to be at Long Wong's at the Firehouse tonight, along with some other locals. The event is headlined by, I believe it's Mr. Mud and Mr. Gold. I'd have to double check just real quick, but they are kind of finishing up a residency on Tuesdays at Long Wong's. There's also a group. It's also it's a solo artist named DL Marble. He's also going to be there, and his stuff is really cool as well, kind of an Americana vibe. But yeah, obviously the band of the moment, the one that we are putting the emphasis upon, is Flight of Ideas. And so that event is getting going at around 8, 9 o'clock. I've seen 2 different times floating around, depending on who is speaking here, but I believe Flight of Ideas is going on at 8. Coolest thing about this event, and one of the coolest things about Long Wong's Tempe, which was being mentioned to me by one of the members of Ham when I was at a show at Yucca Tap Room a few weeks ago, is that Long Wong's is one of the awesomest venues in Tempe for the sheer fact that it is an all-ages place. And so not only is it all ages, the food is fantastic, but you also have no cover, which is, you don't see that very often. There's very few places here in the Valley. I mean, you'll end up tossing in just a few dollars, which is always good. I'm not knocking places that try to get some money out of you because, some of it goes to the venues, some of it goes to the bands and whatnot. But, yeah, anytime you can see fantastic local music with no cover involved, where you can, spend more money on food or beer or, perhaps buying a shirt or, a CD or something like that from the band, that is always just, a badass thing to be able to partake within. So, that's going to be about all of it, since these shows only go for about 11 minutes of time, so I don't want to bombard you with too much information, but please check out Flight of Ideas this evening, y'all, and thanks for joining me once again as I commence this 3rd season of the show. It's still kind of in the developing stages of turning this into a full-on video cast type thing, but for now, I'm just podcasting, slideshowing at you, and giving some credit where credit is duly deserved. Now, today with Flight of Ideas, but, as a whole with this fantastic local music scene that we have. And it's not just great indie rock, as I'm, referencing today. We've got fantastic metal and folk and electronica. I mean, you name it. We're such a vast, expansive, melting pot of awesomeness. I feel privileged to be working as a journalist within this scene. So when I'm not working on this show, which I took a brief hiatus on because I always, do little time on, little time off. I spend the rest of my efforts writing for Examiner.com. I'm the Phoenix Concerts Examiner. I usually do national acts like concert preview type stuff, but there's also the occasional local band that I think is so worthy of me doing either a review or something of that nature for. So please Google Jaime and Fuego. Check me out. Check the stuff out. You'll find all of my articles on Examiner if you do that. You can also hook up and say, what's up? Give some feedback, talk some smack if you want to connect with me on Twitter and on Facebook. And also you'll find the Jaime and Fuego Rock Show, which is what you were just finishing listening to. So peace, love, and chicken grease, y'all. Much love. And I look forward to checking in with all of you mañana when I already have a very exciting band planned to talk about. So, adios, au revoir, good boy, and we'll talk mañana. Later.